Hello, it's a Wednesday night. It's me again, and of course, it's still the news bulletin with the extra torch. Tonight, the touch is truly extra. The controversy generated by the attempt to change the 2019 election sequence has birthed with a court of competent jurisdiction backing INEC as the body set such dates. Also in the news tonight, APC governors. You should know the power of governors in the political party scheme of things. The APC governors are moving their weight around as the party prepares for congresses and convention. Also coming up strong tonight is the Federal Executive Council, which approved multi-billion naira critical infrastructure contracts at its meeting. We've not heard the last of Benue killings, as this was the issue that dominated discourse at the House of Representatives, as senators also took a step further and invited the Inspector General of Police to be their guest over security challenges in the country. I can go on and on, but that might bore you, as I know you want to get to the nitty-gritty of it. But trust us, we have the usual variety of other stories on health, the economy, education, sports, and of course, Thursday's weather prospects. That's the outlook tonight. Stand by for the real deal. I am Sheung Olagunju, and this is News Extra. Justice Ramat Mohammed of the Federal High Court Abuja has declared as null and void the Senate's amendment of the 2019 election sequence. In a judgment given Wednesday in Abuja, the court declared as unconstitutional the Senate's usurpation of INEC's powers. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu has the details.
Accord Party of Nigeria had dragged the National Assembly to court on the 5th of March this year, seeking to stop the process of amending the sequence of the 2019 general elections as announced by INEC, an amendment which President Muhammadu Buhari himself had declined to assent to. The argument by Accord Party before the court was, among others, that the legislative powers of the National Assembly does not allow it to dictate the sequence of elections in contravention of the constitutional powers of INEC. But the National Assembly said such matters was still inchoate and not justiciable, since the court was not empowered to delve into the lawmaking powers of the legislature until it had become an act. But Justice Ramat Mohammed went with the plaintiff, saying that the Constitution saddled INEC with the powers to organize, supervise, and undertake elections.
It is the reordering of the election that was challenged in court. There might be other issues that the president has refused to assent to, or the reasons for not assenting, but the one that has been brought for adjudication, which had been decided today, is the one reordering the election.
The National Assembly now came to pass a bill to take away that power. That action has been declared a nullity in the just delivered judgment.
Definitely, we are going to test the decision upstairs. We are heading to the Court of Appeal because we are not satisfied with the reasons His Lordship gave.
For now, while the decision of Justice Ramat Mohammed may have temporarily put paid to the anxiety raised by the election sequence palaver, a political resolution involving the National Assembly itself is one which the people would be looking forward to and which may create a better respite for the election process itself. From the Federal High Court, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have described the judgment on the sequence of election as another victory for democracy. They say it is a clear indication that there is separation of powers in the nation's democracy.
That the court has done justice to this country, because from all indication, the National Assembly coming into that election sequence is not part of their job. They have so many things to do, affecting the country, affecting their constituencies.
All the parties have joined together and they agree on a particular day, and somebody is coming to change it.
From the judgment, it's clear that the National Assembly do not have such powers to alter the sequence of election. It's purely the constitutional right of INEC to do that, and with that, I think it's another victory for democracy.
The next thing is for us to obey the judiciary. The most important thing that the election is going to take place.
But now that it started with the presidential election and National Assembly together, coming down to the state, it's a welcome development. So we hail the judgment.
And joining me now to discuss the Federal High Court ruling is Jide Ojo. He is a political analyst. Thank you for joining us again on News Extra, Jide.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Good evening,
now that
Nigerians.
A judgment has been made, what's the implication on the 2019 general elections?
It's salutary. It's a very good indication that, first, I agree with those who said that it's a victory for democracy. It also reinforces the separation of power of the three arms of government. And for 2019, it's a very welcome development. Recall that exactly 1 week ago, after the snatching of the maize on the floor of the National Assembly, it was also resolved by the Senate itself to, after the reconsideration of the wanting to override the presidential veto, they've gone ahead to say they are resolving to remove the offensive aspect of the law, the three sections that the president objected to, and are willing to now go the way, resubmit the bill for presidential assent after the removal of the offensive section, the section 25, and a couple of other sections that the president objected to. So what this does effectively is that I'm hoping that the Senate or the National Assembly as a whole will not appeal this decision, and they will allow the sleeping dogs
That's where I was going to. That has this judgment put this issue to rest, or do we see other moves by those proponents of the rearranging the election sequence?
Well, you know they have a right to appeal. It's a party that has gone to court, a court party, and the court party has gotten a judgment favorable to say all the reliefs they sought, 1 to 10, have been considered in favor of the third respondent, which is INEC. And it is now for Senate as a defendant to either exercise its right of appeal to a court of appeal or Supreme Court, or not to. But I hope common sense will prevail. They will not appeal it because INEC needs this law to have certainty in the planning for 2019 elections. And if they will go by their resolution of last Wednesday that they are going to remove those offensive sections that the president objected to and resend the bill to him for assent, I believe the president will assent to it, and that will mean INEC and all other electoral stakeholders will have certainty about what laws will guide the preparations and the conduct of 2019 elections.
The eyes of the world are on Nigeria. There's a lot of work to be done before the 2019 elections for free and fair elections to be achieved. Do we need such distractions at this point?
We don't. Incidentally, this is a government, both executive and the legislative arms belong to the same party. And unfortunately, because of the rancor that's besieged by the party, now that they are going into congresses and convention, I wish the party will actually have meditated in this and seek a political solution and say, look, enough is enough. We need to concentrate on the next general election because that's where the main battle is. But be that as it may, I don't want to speculate that this distraction is not over. I want to believe and hope that the Senate will not appeal this decision. They will expedite action, removing those three sections that the president said were the reasons he couldn't assent to the bill, and pass the bill back to him for his presidential assent, so that on or before the end of May, INEC can have a legal framework that it's very certain, because there are so many other beautiful, very useful, very credible provisions in that bill that the three offensive portions should not be used to
throw away the baby with the bathwater.
Throw away the baby with the bathwater. So the good thing is that once they remove that offensive section 25 and a couple of other sections where the president said they were trying to make law for local government and one other, that means it's a done deal.
Thank you very much.
Once the president assent to it, then we, as stakeholders in the electoral process, will have something to educate the public with.
We hope so, and we hope that happens very soon. Thank you very much for joining us,
Thanks for having me.
Jide Ojo, a political analyst, joining me to discuss the elections. Federal High Court judgment earlier today on INEC's powers to decide election sequence in Nigeria. Now, with 2019 beckoning, political analysts Political activities are also heightening, but for the president, it appears to be smooth sailing as governors of the APC unanimously endorsed his decision to go for a second term in office. For the governors, the decision is courageous and in the best interest of the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu says the governors came up with the endorsement after a meeting with the president in Abuja.
At a crucial stage, this meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and governors elected on the party's platform is therefore critical in charting the best way forward as the 2019 elections draw near. Also attended by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Gida Mustafa, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, the meeting, which lasted about 2 hours behind closed doors, reviewed major developments in the party, especially the recent declaration of intent by President Muhammadu Buhari to seek re-election.
We, the 24 governors of APC, duly support, and we have come to encourage him that he must go ahead with the vision to rescue Nigeria from its present challenges.
I want to assure all Nigerians that we have a very strong, purposeful, and very dynamic leader in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari, who is giving us leadership and direction. And every one of us in APC, governors and others, we are going to align 100%.
Turning around something that has not been working well in the past 16 years, in just a period of 4 years, it's a Herculean task. And I believe that Nigerians appreciate this. On their faces, I see people who are hopeful of a better Nigeria. And he's there to provide that kind of leadership that will take us into the future. The trajectory for prosperity is there. You can see our foreign reserve. You can see the economic policies that have been put in place. He means well, and is prepared to give the kind of leadership that will take us out of the squalor in which we found ourselves in the last 16 years.
Also discussed at the meeting were issues concerning the forthcoming congresses and national convention of the party meant to elect new leadership.
But there are a lot of people in our party to destroy our party. So we, the governors, have put our heads together to look at it critically and see what kind of leadership our party deserves. Our party is in dire need of vibrancy and great, strong leadership to emerge, and we're going to support such leadership to emerge.
Now we are getting to the stage of maturity in terms of deepening democracy and also solidifying the foundation of the party. And we believe that the next set of leaders that we are going to get for the party is the leadership that will take us into the future and prepare us to give to the people of Nigeria the dividends of democracy, which they rightly deserve.
The National Convention of the party is slated to hold on the 14th of May this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Staying with the APC, the National Working Committee of the party is deliberating on the party's Congress and Convention towards streamlining the schedule to suit the party's strategy for victory in the 2019 general elections. This came to the fore at the meeting of the committee in Abuja with the APC governors. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Less than 24 hours after their meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, the APC governors were at the party's national secretariat for yet another meeting, but this time around with the party's executive. It was a closed-door meeting. National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi briefed the media after the meeting.
One of the major concerns of the party at the beginning was that we should try as much as possible to avoid rancor that could be generated as a result of the congresses.
This decision, he noted, is to ensure credible exercise as supported by participants at the meeting.
We go that way in a kind of guided democracy. I think it's better for us.
We have a general acceptability, consensus, and understanding.
The joint meeting also agreed that existing zoning arrangements be maintained to elect new party executives during congresses and convention, adding that the list of congresses committee will be made public on Friday, 27th April 2018. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
As we've been telling you, the 2019 general elections are fast approaching and the political space is getting interesting. Party politics are brewing as political parties are tidying up to face the 2019 general elections with the necessary vigor to succeed. To some parties, the two governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun are the litmus test to the big one. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu reports on the meetings of two political parties, the Alliance for Democracy and the Social Democratic Party, SDP.
For the Alliance for Democracy, AD, it was a meeting of the National Working Committee, the first after what appears like an end to its national leadership crisis in recent times. Top on the agenda are strategies to face two governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun and the 2019 general election. The party rules out possibility of merger with any political party.
Alliance for Democracy recognizes its place and position. That is why we are back to the trenches, repairing and restructuring the party.
The AD National Working Committee also announced the suspension of states leadership in 3 states of Osun, Oyo, and Akwa Ibom for what it calls lack of credible congresses. In another development, the Social Democratic Party, SDP, has announced its intention to actively participate in the Ekiti election.
I will ensure that our primaries are transparent for everybody to see. We are going for direct primaries, almost option A4. So we are taking away the issue of delegates. We are dealing with community-based politicking. The community have to queue and vote someone they trust, that they know will take care of their peculiarities and their challenges. 4
aspirants have so far indicated interest to contest the July 14th election on the SDP platform. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Away from politics for now, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has been engaging some of the big names in the global media space in the United States of America just to bring them up to speed with the reality on ground on the present administration's determination to bring the country out of the woods. Anthony Forsin reports.
The famous Washington Post was the minister's first port of call. Flanked by 2 presidential aides attached to his office, he was engaged by a duo of the organization's top-flight correspondents who have a vast knowledge about African issues with specific interest in Nigeria. The present administration's almost 3 years in office was tabled for x-raying, and blow by blow, the minister reeled out President Muhammadu Buhari's administration scorecard, coming from tackling insecurity to growing the nation's economy and taming corruption. The minister equally reeled out statistics on how the nation's economy has fared. The success story of the nation's agri-revolution, job creation, social security were placed on the table as evidence. Despite a high level of satisfaction displayed, they sought to know why the criticisms which the minister was quick to place on the doorsteps of those he described as desperate opposition.
Because the opposition is very desperate. They are afraid that if the president wins again, that he'll be able to deal effectively with all those who are responsible for looting the treasury.
At the Voice of America, we asked the minister what were their areas of concern and what was his reply.
They want to know how much progress this government has made in the last almost 3 years. I have been quite excited at the opportunity being given at this very important platform.
The minister's media engagement in the United States will continue with special sideline meetings with key stakeholders in global affairs. From Washington, D.C., Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Time to take our first breather tonight. Up ahead, Federal Executive Council approves multi-billion-naira contracts and reactions still trail the murder of worshippers at a church in Benue. This and more after this break. Stay with us.
Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigerian SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards aimed at improving the exports of the nation's food and cash crops. This explains why we have developed more standards for Nigeria's produce like sesame, cocoa, garri, and more, courtesy our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turnaround time for SunCap and ManCap to reduce substandard products. misconduct, and legal arm to prosecute offenders. Join Standards Organization of Nigeria in ridding our nation of substandard goods due to consistent market surveillance and raids. See something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
The beauty of democracy is appreciated when those elected into political office fulfill their campaign promises. Of course, great minds give honor to whom honor is due. The government and people of Bauchi State heartily welcome His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. He will be in the state to honor His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Bauchi State, Barrister M.D. Abubakar Makama Babba Bauchi, for his wonderful, visionary and laudable performance in transforming the socio-economic prospect of the state into marvelous and indelible landmarks of human and material development. Mr. President will commission the earth-breaking powerful projects the governor has successfully executed across the state. The general public is hereby invited to come out en masse to welcome Mr. President and witness the commissioning and distribution of 500 tractors, the first of its kind in the state, to boost agriculture. Mr. President, you are welcome to Bauchi State, your political empire at all times. Wishing you a pleasant visit. Announcer, Publicity Committee.
Hey, Anu. Look, I got something for you.
A football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
Please, come. I'm okay, thanks.
The kind of person that you asked me to be. My brother say you love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But it's strange.
Just how many goals you have scored?
I get you.
You scored 2.
I look up like this, say, who are you?
So, Daddy, you showed those blues Pepe yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
Game's about to start. Quick, please.
The Vice-Chancellor, University of Maiduguri, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Njodi, on behalf of the Governing Council and Senate, cordially invites members of the public to the 23rd Combined Convocation Ceremony of the University, scheduled for Saturday, 28th April 2018. The visitor to the University, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, is expected to grace the occasion and participate in commissioning some projects. Other activities lined up include a pre-convocation night for students on Tuesday the 24th, alumni homecoming dinner on Thursday the 26th, while a convocation lecture and chancellor's night will both take place on Friday the 27th. The events will be crowned on Saturday the 28th with the award of degrees, diplomas, certificates and prizes to graduates and conferment of titles on eminent personalities who have distinguished themselves in various fields of endeavor. Come one, come all. Registrar, announcer.
The Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage is scheduled to conduct public hearings in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, including Abuja and Lagos, Southeast Zone, Nika Lake Resort, Enugu State on Thursday, 26 April 2018, South-South, Obiwali International Conference Center, Port Harcourt, River State on Friday, 27 April 2018, Southwest, Premier Hotel, Ibadan, Oyo State on Friday, 27 April 2018, Lagos State, Adeyemi Bero Hall, Alausa Ikeja, Lagos State on Thursday, 26 April 2018, Northeast, Gombe International Hotel, Gombe State on Thursday, 26 April 2018. Northwest, Hotel 17, Kaduna, Kaduna State on Thursday, 26 April 2018. North Central, Glass House, Government House, Lokoja, Kogi State on Friday, 27 April 2018. FCT, National Universities Commission Auditorium, Maitama, Abuja on Thursday, 26 April 2018. Time, 10 a.m. at all venues. Interested stakeholders and members of the public with memorandum should bring copies to the venue. High Chief Richard Ebule, Member Secretary, Announcer.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris. Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility. This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thanks for staying with us on News Extra. We begin this segment with that Wednesday meeting. Now, the federal government has approved over 100 billion naira contracts for the provision of critical infrastructure in the agriculture, roads, health, water resources and aviation sectors. The Federal Executive Council granted the approvals after a marathon meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The meeting of the Federal Executive Council, which lasted over 5 hours, critically analyzed the infrastructure deficit in the various economic sectors and granted several approvals in the areas of need for socio-economic development. Amongst the approvals is the one for the establishment of additional rice mills towards enhancing the milling capacity of the rice value chain in the country.
A few years ago, it was reported that this country needs a minimum of 100 large rice mills. As of today, we have about 21. But federal government, in its wisdom, decided that today we should approve the establishment of 10 new rice mills at a total cost of 10.7 billion. The 10 rice mills will be located across the 6 geopolitical zones.
In the area of roads, the council approved the award of contracts for Sumaila, Falala, Birnimbaku, Bauchi Road that connects Kano and Bauchi states at 4.5 billion naira.
Council also approved the additional works on the Section 1 of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, 43.6 kilometers for 64.108 billion. Which covers cloverleaf, pedestrian bridges, toll plazas for that section so as to accommodate changing nature of that road to deal with the heavy cargo that passes through the road.
Also scaled through is the memorandum for the signing of licensing agreement between the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development as well as May and Baker PLC towards scaling up the commercialization and marketing of Niprisan, a very potent anti-sickening drug for use in Nigeria.
About 25% of Nigerians carry the sickle cell gene, and over 2 million people have sickle cell anemia, and that's having the 2 genes combined. This drug was first used in Oyo State over 20 years ago. It is safe, it is efficacious, and we believe that the marketing and production in Nigeria will bring a lot of comfort to millions of Nigerians who are afflicted with the sickle cell gene.
The minister said the council has also approved the construction of a trauma center for the Federal Medical Center Owerri at 840 million naira towards changing the dynamics of care in the southeast and south-south zones of the country. 2 memos presented by the Ministry of Water Resources were also approved for the augmentation of existing contracts, one of which is the erosion control projects at Madachi and Bakaye in Tambwa local government area of Sokoto State.
We requested for an augmentation of 93 million naira, which was approved as part of our efforts to continue to finish some of our projects. The second one is the Azara Jere irrigation project, which is a spin-off from the Gurara Dam and Gurara water pipeline transfer from Gurara to Lower Usma Dam.
10 billion naira has also been approved for the 4th quarter soil erosion, flood, and pollution accelerated intervention projects across the country, and another $450 million to make functional new airport buildings provided by the last administration.
The previous administration issued contracts for the construction of massive new buildings in our major airports. You see the one in Abuja here, and Lagos, Kanwa. Nobody can use them. So the government today awarded a new contract for variation and additional, contracts for new passenger and also cargo terminals, and a lot of other works to facilitate their usage, including, in the case of Lagos and Abuja, improvements to enable big jumbo aircraft, Airbus 380, to be able to land in both cities.
In the meantime, a Department of Traditional Medicine is to be established for the first time in the Ministry of Health to provide leeway to research into many of the nation's traditional products, especially the cure for malaria in the forest landscape. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
To a presidential visit now, President Muhammadu Buhari will Thursday inaugurate the Nigerian Air Force Referral Hospital in Bauchi. While on the visit, the president is also expected to inaugurate some developmental projects executed by Governor Mohammed Abubakar. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that the state government has declared the day a public holiday.
All is said ahead of President Muhammadu Buhari's 2 days official visit to Bauchi State. While in the state, the president is expected to commission the ultra-modern Nigerian Air Force Referral Hospital at the headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force Special Operations Command, Bauchi. Roads constructed within Bauchi metropolis by Governor Muhammad Abubakar, and the flag-off of distribution of 500 units of tractors to farmers in the state.
Over the distribution of farm implements and poverty alleviation equipment to deserving beneficiaries. The visit of Mr. President will again afford us the opportunity to demonstrate our love and support for him.
The governor further called on people of the state to turn out en masse to welcome Mr. President to Bauchi and also resist any temptation to use the president's visit to express political rivalry. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
Now to the legislature. The Senate has deliberated on the arrest of Senator Dino Melaye by the Nigeria police and frowned at the purported ill treatment of the senator by members of the force. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that the senators also received an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari requesting the inclusion of $496.3 million in the 2018 budget for the purchase of military aircraft.
Government-to-government arrangement.
Senate President Bukola Saraki read the president's request.
Apapa was granted by the United States government, but with a deadline within which part payment must be made, otherwise the contract will lapse.
The issue of the arrest of Senator Dino Melaye, representing Kogi West, and his subsequent admission at the National Hospital Abuja was considered. Senator Samuel Anyanwu from Imo State moved the motion, which also condemned the circumstance that led to the senator's present health condition, as the senators resolved to meet with the leadership of the Nigerian police to address the matter.
I think it's important that as leadership of this Senate must look at this issue.
The IG should be here to address us in plenary. We'll take the issue of Senator Dino and we'll also use that opportunity to take these recent also killings in the last 1 week.
And convey this message to the IG, because it's not good always in the news, Kogi.
What happens here, we should be able to take it as good statesmen and women to address it intimately.
I'm standing here to move that this Senate, for now, move from here to go and see Dino.
In observance of one of the prayers of the motion, the senators, led by the Senate President, straight from the chamber visited the National Hospital to see the hospitalized senator. The Senate President and few other senators who were allowed into the ward briefed journalists on Senator Dino Melaye's condition.
We've just seen him. He is in high intensive care. He's stable for now.
Well, this visit was at exactly 29 minutes past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when the senators would have still been in the chamber for the day's plenary. But the senators abruptly adjourned in order to visit one of their colleagues. From the National Hospital, Abuja, Ignatius Onkwo, NTA News.
In security matters, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has received the final report of the Presidential Committee on Special Detainees linked to Boko Haram insurgency. The 5-chapter and 47-page report contains detailed information on detainees' profiles and categorization. The report from the chairman of the committee, General Abdullahi Bagudu Maman, the SGF, represented by the Permanent Secretary, General Service Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Olusegun Adeyemi Adekunle, commended the committee for their painstaking efforts and good job. Still on security, the Nigerian Army says it will make public the findings of a special panel that investigated allegations leveled against the Army by General Theophilus Danjuma. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said this while receiving the reports of the Committee on Arms Verification and the allegation. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
The Nigerian Army had on March 19, 2018, inaugurated a committee for arms verification across the country, though it is a regular routine in the military. With the current increase in proliferation of small and light weapons and emerging security threats, the routine, the Army Chief stressed, requires critical attention.
All those discrepancies that have been identified will be looked into properly, and any officer or any commander that is found to be negligent will be appropriately sanctioned.
On the report of Army's alleged misconduct in Taraba State, Lieutenant General Buratai noted that the Army will implement the findings of the committee.
It is aimed at putting the record straight. It is aimed at safeguarding our integrity as an entity.
Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, the desire of every nation is to be industrialized, but these analysts say is guaranteed only in an atmosphere of peace and stability. There are therefore worries over the issues of cross-border crimes, especially with narratives of terrorism and herders and farmers clashes. The situation has got all thinking and working out practicable solutions. And then this international conference on cross-border crimes came up, and many say it is a step in the right direction. Tuesday Live, NTA's current affairs program, took up some of the participants on the issue. Over to Talatu Izerike.
Cross-border security challenges, be it armed conflict, insurgency, trafficking in arms and drugs, are a global phenomenon that threatened international peace and security. Countries such as Chad, Cameroon and Niger are faced with the challenges evident with the increase in insurgency and herders-farmers clashes, Nambi Devlin, Nigeria as a case study. There are therefore apprehensions over the nation's porous borders and alleged compromise or corruption at the border, bearing in mind that the ECOWAS Transhuman Protocol allows movement of citizens from one country to another to grace.
The Ministry of Interior has been thinking of applying modern technology in monitoring the borders to be able to properly checkmate illegal movement into the country.
We cannot control the borders 100%. We patrol it, we do our best. That's why we introduced this legislation in 2017, where if you miss us at the border, we'll get you at a place of residence.
The situation many believe will be tackled with the International Conference on Cross-Border Movement initiated by the Ministry of Interior.
So if we can really introduce the issue of technology, microchips, for example, for animals that are coming in, being a big market, Nigeria, we can insist on this is the quality, these are the conditions for you to take advantage of our market.
Another matter of international interest is the dimension of reportage on the social media that promotes hate speech, anarchy, and false reports that undermine national security. These analysts say is contrary to the ideas of the conventional media in building a stronger Nigeria and must be addressed.
Critical resources that will have been diverted into something meaningful by government is now being used to take care of the security situation that social media has created.
The best way for you to regulate social media is through creating public awareness. That is what is called self-regulation.
Talking about the military model, I'm not suggesting that the social media should be militarized. But I'm only suggesting that what the military has done in coming out with a policy is a control measure, and I think it should be emulated.
Interestingly, it has been observed that global concerns are high on checkmating the excesses of the social media, and Nigeria, many strongly believe, should follow suit in building a stronger country. Talat Izarike, NTA News.
Now, the year 2018 is another major election year in Africa. Not that elections are new on this continent, but the concern is whether cases of internet shutdown, which is gradually becoming a trend during the election period in Africa, will surface again. So, civil society organizations from across the world are raising concerns over this and other lingering digital rights issues, which they believe should nurture democracy. Musbao Damwahab reports that these are some of the issues at the 2018 Internet Freedom Forum being attended by participants from about 30 countries in Abuja.
Democracy is growing in Africa. So fast, too, is internet usage across the continent. But then, seemingly, it has been a mouse and cat race between governments and the civil society organizations on the side of the internet users over the thin line between digital rights and digital responsibility. Daily, number of tweets surges, just like the post on the Facebook, Instagram, and other social media by those who believe in the notion of the internet as a liberating technology. But on the other hand, the governments are concerned about regulations. Participants sharing experiences here are raising concern that the important issues confronting digital rights, such as privacy, internet shutdown, access to the internet, among others, need more attention in Africa. In 2017, Africa recorded 8 cases of internet shutdowns, particularly around elections, and the organizers believe there are indications that the trend continues this year.
Why waste time shutting down the internet, telling people to cut off phone services, when we can actually focus on making this tool an opportunity for young people to create economic opportunities for themselves?
To looking at more innovative ways of using these technologies for our own benefits, for the benefit of our continent. So not just going out to use it for hate speech, it doesn't help us.
The forum also raised concern over an ambiguous clause in the cybercrime laws and freedom of expression in order to protect the rights of journalists.
It will scare people from expressing their freedom of speech because we don't know what is offensive and what is not offensive. Perhaps the Court of Appeal would tell us.
I will actually put in my voice to say that the Digital Rights and Freedoms Bill that has passed through the 2 houses, we're looking forward to it actually becoming a law in country.
As efforts to reach a compromise are on between those who support digital rights and those who seemingly suppress it, participants here believe a balance must be struck in the interest of the continent. In Abuja, Musbao Damwahab, NTA News.
Indeed, Musbao, we're progressing steadily, but let's take a short break now. Don't go far. Business news is coming up next. You don't want to miss that.
Take a good look at our world today and you'll discover something interesting. More and more drivers are choosing mobile motor oils. You see, as engine performance becomes more important than ever, the vehicle owners are coming to expect more from their engine oils. They're demanding more mileage on a single oil change. They're demanding longer-lasting engines and smoother rides. They're demanding the best. And with Mobile, that's what they get. We raised the bar for motor oils with the Mobile Super 1000. And with the Mobile One, we raised it even higher. And because it's made using the most advanced engineering processes, Mobile motor oils leave your engine super clean, increase its durability, and keep it so well protected, it never stops running. So if success for you depends on continuous movement, you need engine oil, engineered for that purpose. Mobile, performance at its best.
Make it mobile. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the daring and invincible Louis the Mosquito. Responsible for 200 malaria cases all on its own. Is there anything that can kill Louis? Morphine! Presenting Morti's Power Guard. Its powerful formula kills malaria mosquitoes fast. So, get Morti's Power Guard.
Shola,
Come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
Caring for the patients of typhoid and diarrhea is our responsibility. And these illnesses are often spread due to eating with unclean hands. So I recommend Dettol, as it protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why I want to be Dettol sure. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Dettol soap is now also available for 100 Naira only.
The sun is shining, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. And life is calling, time to live a new way. Activate your life, be who you want to be. Yeah, yeah. Time to get active, yes, the time is now.
Start an active life with the power of vegetables and fruits. Chivita Active. Be active. Do more.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily. In unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilet, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes. Germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 Cap Full for surface cleaning, in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid, to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Thank you for staying with us. Good to know you're with us on News Extra. And we talk business now. Nigeria's tourism industry promises huge revenue generation for Nigeria. Plus, Africa Development Bank decries the volume of illicit financial flows from Africa. Details and more with Chukunonzo Nwabweze on our Business News segment.
Hello and a warm welcome. With a population of 200 million people, of which 70% or more are youths, Nigeria has the potential to deliver excellence in the tourism industry. The Director General of National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Nahotua, Chika Balogun, who disclosed this in an exclusive interview with NTA Business News, says the only way investors can get return on their investments is to ensure that the country's tourism industry is fully professionalized.
Government gets taxes off all of these, so government making investments through Nahotua and other agencies in tourism is not because they just want to waste money. It's because they also know the value of what tourism will bring back to government through taxation, but more importantly, the wealth it will create for her citizens.
Meanwhile, Senior Director, African Development Bank in Nigeria, Ebrima 4, says the huge volume of illicit financial flows from Africa, pegged at an estimated $50 billion, if not curtailed, could lead to financial crisis and widespread poverty on the continent. Speaking on the sidelines of a workshop on strengthening the role of Parliament in combating illicit financial flows from Africa, holding in Abuja, 4 called on strong legislations to tackle the menace.
Engagement is continuous, and we hope that over time the awareness and the sensitization of both the parliaments and the society will be enhanced so that we can avoid this.
And trading on the equities market closed for the day on the negative side, with more than 300 million shares exchanging hands in 5,020 deals, valued at about 4.6 billion naira. Nestle Nigeria, Seplat Petroleum Development Company, and Fort Oil topped the gainers table, while Total Nigeria, Dangote Cement, and FBN Holdings dominated the losers chart. FBN Holdings, United Bank for Africa, and Fidelity Bank were amongst the most patronized. And the stock market report concludes the business news. The network news continues shortly. I am Chukunonso Nwabueze.
Thank you, Nonso. Now, the construction industry in Nigeria is about to witness a mega revolution. That is, if the determination of a group of young girls is anything to go by. If you must know, they have been intellectually equipped, skillfully prepared and physically trained, and just being sent forth from Abuja to various states across the country. Their mission? To invade and, if possible, take over in spheres popularly seen as male-dominated. Whatever this is about, Momso Demendati will tell us.
This is Salmat Mohammed, a 29-year-old wife and mother with a nursing baby barely 5 months old. All the way from Kogi State, she is here in Abuja in search of life skills that will break her out of financial bondage and into independence, since white-collar jobs are no longer forthcoming.
I actually came to empower myself, to build my capacity beyond where I've been. I'm a graduate, BSc holder. The job is not there anymore.
On another hand is pregnant Priska Edwards, who defied her physical condition to join other women from the 36 states of the country in this residential capacity building program for female.
Today we are ready as women to be an engineer, to be in the field like the men.
Are you going home to challenge your husband?
Yes, I'm going out. Him is a tailor and I want to be an engineer.
Having learned the nitty-gritty of skills in plumbing, piping, tiling, masonry, power generating set, air conditioning and refrigerator repairs, as well as maintenance, the women are today qualified for Level 3 trade test certificates, work tools, equipment, and startup grants to set up their own businesses. Broad smiles, cheers, and excitement became visible as the ladies wheeled and carried home bounties of goodies, sure their tickets to financial independence.
Women, we are going to be the leader of tomorrow. We turn the federal government.
In fact, the things here, I never expected them, you know. I thought maybe they are going to give us something little. And this is heavy. Everything I need to start up a shop is here. I'm happy.
Expect them to go over, not just doing the job, but training other females to get people involved. They are like training the trainers too.
The training is over, and the ladies are set to return to their various states as professionals in the construction industry. The outcome is what you and I will just wait to see. Momso Demendati, NTA News.
Yes, Mom, so empower a woman, you empower the nation. Now, the intervention of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the African Development Bank has significantly impacted on the socio-economic well-being of farmers. This came to the fore during the midterm review of the program in Abuja. Musa Babali reports that the support focuses on value addition and best agronomic practices in rural areas.
It's all about transformation aimed at changing the lifestyle and income of rural farmers through upscaling their production. For instance, the yields per hectare in this area in Birnin Kudu local government area of Jigawa State has increased significantly courtesy of the federal government intervention codenamed ATAS 1. Apart from increase in the production, the farmers are equally upscaling the processing capacity of the harvested cassava. For the farmers in Udenu local government area of Enugu State, apart from rice and cassava, they are also into sorghum production for the first time in that part of the country due to this intervention.
Didn't know much about sorghum before. So ATAS 1 has already done a lot to us by bringing the sorghum to us.
Infrastructural development, including construction of health facility, primary school and water supply, are also part of the intervention program.
The rule of ATAP is that any community that you are going to put a project, you have to look for farmers.
The value chain aspects, a lot of improved yields have been recorded. Higher yields have been recorded for rice, cassava, and sorghum in the project areas. And then employment opportunities have also been created for the beneficiaries in the participating state.
This meeting here is therefore aimed at reviewing the impact of the transformation program in all the 7 participating states in the country. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nigeria's commitment to achieving cleaner vehicle policies and addressing increase in automobile pollution was brought to the fore at a workshop on Global Fuel Economy Initiative in Nigeria. Authorities of the National Automotive Design and Development Council say the ultimate target is to encourage low-sulfur fuels for reduction of sulfur emissions into the atmosphere. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports that the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, recommends global best practice in fuel supply and consumption.
The Global Fuel Economy Initiative aims at reducing fuel consumption in vehicles by 50% in the year 2020, increase 50% fuel-efficient vehicles by 2050, and to know the average of fuel efficiency in vehicles in Nigeria.
Petrol and diesel use in Nigeria is brought in from overseas, and the refineries overseas can already meet these targets. So all it takes is policy that dictates that all fuel coming into Nigeria meets this standard. And then as we move forward, also all the new refineries to be set up in Nigeria would have to meet these standards.
The transportation sector has been identified as the main source of urban pollution, which accounts for over 40,000 deaths in Nigeria annually, with Onitsha in Anambra State as the most highly polluted city globally. This was made public by UNEP representative during deliberations at the workshop.
Clean fuels that are available and almost at the same price as what is already being imported into Nigeria. What we find is that we are also working at international levels. So we are also engaging with the Netherlands, with Belgium, where a lot of the storage facilities for the fuel that comes into the West Africa region is stored, and they have Africa-specific fuel quality.
Participants acknowledge that high sulfur content in fuel, especially diesel, is responsible for vehicle pollution. Sulfur occurs naturally in crude oil and requires high level of refining to reduce its content.
I would suggest that they should encourage more electric cars in Nigeria, the use of solar cars, like the one Mr. Jalani Aliyu invented.
If they will still keep on with the using of fuel, they should at least reduce the state of sulfur in fuel, because many people, we have lost a lot of lives in Nigeria.
Records indicate that over 80% of vehicles imported into this country are already used vehicles, what Nigerians refer to as Tokumbo vehicles. The rate of emission from such category of vehicles will invariably be high, especially with high rate of sulfur in the fuel consumed in the country. So the advocates of low sulfur fuel in Africa and in Nigeria in particular will have to go the extra mile to ensure that the sources of fuel consumed in the country abide by the global principle of low sulfur fuel. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
And from fueling to the movement of vehicles, the persistent gridlock at the Apapa Tinkan Island ports is gradually easing. Lynn Lenike reports that the Commander NNS Beecroft, Commodore Okon Eyo, briefed the media on developments in that axis.
The situation in Apapa for over 1 year. This is the same Apapa today. The difference, as they say, is clear. The traffic, which almost crippled business activities on this critical economic axis, has eased substantially. Numerous initiatives by the federal and state government, as well as the private sector, including the ongoing reconstruction of the road, are yielding the desired results. The Nigerian Navy has also played a critical role by deploying its personnel to manage the traffic. The commander, NNS Beecroft, says the Nigerian Navy has also designed a thoroughfare card to check the excesses of tanker drivers.
A standard operating procedure for the traffic tax team on port road decongestion. So
We've done this. We just laid out the procedure for containers to come in for compliance. All these things I've talked to you, they are summarized and detailed out here.
Tanker Drivers Association commended the collaborative efforts that are leading to the revolution of the traffic nightmare on the Apapa axis.
With what we are seeing now, there's a kind of sign of relief, but the amount of money we were spending before truck access the port before, it has reduced drastically.
What we have seen today is the result of collaboration of government agencies, of all port stakeholders.
In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
We head back to the legislature now, where at the House of Representatives, security matters once again came to the fore, with the recent attack on a church in Benue State brought closer for examination. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the lawmakers are so disturbed by this development and other spate of insecurity across the country, persisting in spite of efforts by government and security agencies to control them.
Some parts of the country have recently experienced various attacks and conflicts resulting to loss of lives and property. Member representing Were East and West Federal Constituency of Benue State, Mark Bwila, is urging the House to intervene in the crisis rocking the state, ensure the perpetrators are brought to justice.
We are in a very deep sense of loss and mourning.
I don't know anywhere where you can travel 100 kilometers without being afraid.
This is the time to do it, Mr. Speaker. The life of Nigerians have become so cheap.
Because of the gravity of what we have been discussing, we should take a day in the week which will lead us. There are halls in the villa that can take all the 360 of us. We sit down with Mr. President and discuss the matter.
President to appear before this House so that he should answer questions with regard to security matters in the country.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.
The House adopted the motion also brought under matters of urgent public importance by Representative Omorege Ihama from Edo State on the need to halt the proposed splitting of existing polling units by INEC.
One of the key attributes of a free and fair election is the ability of registered voters to access their polling units and the ease to perform their civic responsibilities.
While the reenactment bill on Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria was passed, two other bills were referred to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Ibara, Ado-Ekiti by Representative Alexander Adekola passed for second reading. Three motions, including the need for NEMA to address the plight of victims of fire at Gajaram town in Borno State, were also adopted.
The House also resolved into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report of the Conference Committee on Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrars Bill of 2017 and that of the Committee on Ports, Harbours and Waterways, and adopted them. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Muslim Rights Concern has condemned the attack on St. Ignatius Catholic Church in Balam in Gwe local government area of Benue State, which led to the death of 19 persons, including 2 Catholic priests. The group described the attack as wicked, repulsive and barbaric. The director of MURIC, Professor Ishak Akintola, who in a statement called for the arrest of those behind the dastardly act, said life is sacred and only the Creator has the right to freely take what He gives. He said those who attack the house of God have no trace of piety in their hearts and should not expect mercy from the Supreme Creator. So far, so good, but I won't miss the next set of stories on News Extra if I were you. Trust me, that will be after these messages, though. Stay with us.
Your perfect family is under threat by germs. Infectious diseases are now the world's biggest killer of adults and children. Every day, 16,000 children under the ages of 5 and thousands of adults die from infectious diseases. These infectious diseases are caused by germs. They are everywhere. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily. In unclean water, dirty surfaces, in the toilet, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes, germs can cause deadly diseases like typhoid, diarrhea, flu, and cough. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 Cap Full for surface cleaning in your bathing water, in your laundry water, for first aid, to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Our Anchor Borrowers program has created an agricultural revolution. In September 2015, we imported 644,000 tons of rice, costing more than $5 million per day. By September 2017, rice imports dropped by 95% to 22,000 tons. Our maize crop has exceeded 10 million tons this year, and through our rice and maize program, we now have 12.2 million farmers. We are now the world's second largest producer of sorghum after the United States, third in millet after India, and we lead the world's production of yam and cassava. We've created numerous plantations solely for the export market, and our plan is to increase the agricultural sector from 25 to 49% of our GDP, thereby reducing poverty and increasing food security.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
You're watching News Extra on the NTA. We appreciate your time. Now, as the world marks Malaria Day, Brekit Benkesa Nigeria, our producers of Mortin insecticide brand, partners state ministries of health to achieve a malaria-free Nigeria. In Abia State, where stakeholders observe the World Malaria Day, the wife of the Abia State Governor, Nkechi Ikpeazu, urged government and development partners to inject more funds in the fight against malaria. Dennis Temple reports.
Brekit Benkesa Nigeria are the producers of Mortin insecticide brand. The marketing manager of West Africa, Elatoye Omotola, says part of their strategy to combat the scourge is to increase awareness and reduce malaria morbidity and mortality rates to a reasonable limit.
Now, as you know, awareness and education stands at the heart of malaria prevention. If we are able to prevent malaria, then we can be assured that the mortality and the morbidity reduces to the barest minimum.
Similarly, the wife of the Abia State Governor, Mrs. Nkechi Ikpeazu, remarked that the theme of this year's World Malaria Day is apt, stating that the fight against malaria has taken a global dimension which requires collaboration of all stakeholders.
The World Health Organization says nearly half of the world's population is at risk of malaria. In 2015, there were roughly 212 million malaria cases and an estimated 429,000 malaria deaths.
Features of this year's Malaria Day in Abia State include presentation of prizes to schools that emerged winners in the Malaria Day quiz competition and the conferment of awards to the wife of the Abia State Governor. Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Now, increasing investments in the development and deployment of modern malaria techniques is crucial to enhancing the fight against malaria. President, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Ahmed Yakase, stated this at a media briefing to mark the 2018 World Malaria Day in Lagos. Joy Ken Akwaboya has the details.
Fit to Beat is the theme for this year, and it seeks to bring together everyone for a concerted fight against malaria. This has become more imperative as Nigeria continues to record over 50 million cases and 207,000 deaths yearly, in spite of numerous anti-malaria initiatives. The Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, as experts, did a diagnosis of the situation and came up with one prescription, that more investment is needed in malaria research and control. The President, Ahmed Yakasai, says investments should specifically be directed at vector control strategies.
Holistic efforts to see that even the mosquitoes that are around, if we can make them sterile the way other countries are doing. If we can do the vector control, we'll create awareness to the people that, look, this is what you should do, just the way we did for Lassa fever. Don't allow rats around your place. Continue creating awareness that this sanitation environment is key to eradicating mosquitoes.
The PSN president commended the resolution of government to have the number of malaria cases and resultant deaths. For effective malaria control and elimination, experts say drug manufacturers must see the production of anti-malaria drugs as a service to humanity rather than for profit maximization. In Lagos, Joyken Abapoya, NTA News.
Still on health, man-made and natural disasters usually displace people. Some of these displaced persons in Nigeria find their way to the Federal Capital Territory to seek refuge. As a result of the environment they find themselves, they become prone to medical challenges. It is in a bid to give succor to the affected that the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons organized a medical outreach for IDPs in one of the camps in Abuja. Adebola Brooksling Sunday has a report.
This camp, New Kuchigoro, is one of the self-established internally displaced persons camps in Abuja.
From their various makeshift accommodations, they converged on the camp center for the medication.
How to beat malaria and end its devastating effects is the major task before these caregivers and the caretakers.
About 70% of them are presenting with malaria.
You know that 75% of those lives that are lost and the cases are all children. And the second is pregnant women. So we are losing. We can't continue losing these people.
We are happy. We want government to continue doing like this.
After flagging off the outreach in conjunction with Dr. Hassan's Hospital and Diagnostic Center, Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadia Umar, went round some of the test tables to appreciate the complementary role played by Child AIDS and Sponsorship Awareness Foundation, CASAF.
And we've given them kits, with the wash kits, in most of the camps which they can use to, sanitize their environments.
Every child is treated specially, not just the medical aid, but also psychological help.
It will enable them appreciate the fact that the larger society is standing with them in solidarity.
The outreach is in response to health challenges being faced by the internally displaced persons. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, says Nigeria is not under any threat of Lassa fever since there is no reported case of the disease. The minister stated this at the stakeholders meeting convened by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Hajj Commission to reassure Saudi authorities of Lassa-free intending pilgrims. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The World Health Organization (WHO) 2018 survey indicates that the spread of Lassa fever in Nigeria has drastically reduced to its barest minimum, with no trace of the disease. These data shows that the number of new confirmed cases have completely fallen in the last 5 consecutive weeks, an indication that public health measures are proving effective in combating the disease. In line with the global best practice, the Hajj Commission is intensifying efforts at taking proactive measures and ensuring proper screening of the 2018 intending pilgrims to be free of all kinds of diseases, including Lassa fever.
Appropriate response put in place by the Nigerian government has led to dramatic decline in the number of cases. So as of last week, we had only one case. And so effectively, we are in a position to declare the outbreak over. But what we will also assure them is that we're not going to rest on our oars.
What we are doing now is to support the precautionary measures to be taken by the Ministry of Health of Saudi Arabia, and also all our pilgrims are medically fit to perform the Hajj and the Lassa fever free.
What here is screening all our pilgrims, create awareness on our intending pilgrims, and making sure that all pilgrims, before they depart, anybody that has any suspected case of Lassa fever will automatically be dropped.
We are used to this issue of mobilization, sensitization on all issues affected, not only Lassa fever, on all issues.
The stakeholders meeting attracted all state commissioners of health, chairmen and secretaries of State Pilgrims Welfare Board, as well as other stakeholders to brainstorm for effective and hitch-free 2018 exercise. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government and the Joint Health Sector Union, JOHESU, have commenced a negotiation towards bringing to an end the union's ongoing strike action. Adebola Brooksling Sunday has the report.
The meeting with the leadership of JOHESU and other stakeholders is at the instance of the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige.
We are supposed to continue the discussion.
The minister, who expressed displeasure over the strike embarked on by the union in spite of ongoing talks, says the federal government already has a proposal for the workers.
So that we can resolve this issue and we go back to your patients. The cardinal thing in healthcare is the welfare of the patients.
National chairman of the union said they have no option than to embark on the strike after a 66-day notice.
And we are not strike mongers. It is for the love of Nigerians that we exercise lots and lots of patience.
As at the time of filing in this report, the two parties entered into a closed-door meeting. Adebola Brooksling Sunday, NTA News.
Away from the health sector for now, the national president of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTEAN, Musa Isiwele, alongside other national officers, have been returned unopposed at the 11th National Delegates Conference of the association held in Abuja. The 35 newly elected officers are to lead the association for the next 5 years. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
The emergence of the new leadership of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTEAN, is based on its constitution, which provides for stays in zonal congresses to have been concluded, after which those recognized would seek national offices at the delegate conference. No vote cast as there was no opposition.
We accepted the position given us. It's a work, it's a mandate. It's not one-man business. We are going to, inshallah, before 2 years in office, we shall complete our secretariat of 6th-floor building.
The uniqueness of the 11th Delegate Conference of RTEAN is the peaceful manner with which the election ended without rancor or dissatisfaction.
You witness it when the people want to conduct the election. You see ballot papers, they were fighting. That was the first advice I said. Let them emulate RTEAN. To advise our politicians. They should emulate what we did today because Nigeria is one.
I believe in between unity and progress there is a peace. So I believe we are peace lovers. That's why you can see everywhere is peace. Everybody are happy. People are come from different locations.
Retain has over 16,000 members nationwide, either as transport owners or employers. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
In 1988, 2 specialized universities of agriculture were established by the federal government in Abeokuta, Ogun State, and Makurdi, Benue State, to lead in the provision of knowledge-based agricultural revolution in the country. 30 years after, the need for these universities to do more, given the giant strides in the agri sector recorded by the Buhari administration, has been stressed. Good enough, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund is handy. Yes, very handy, to give the universities the much-needed support to deliver on their mandate. Let's join Ado Adamu also for details.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, established as an intervention agency to complement the basic needs of public institutions of learning in the country, has remained strategic to the developments of the country. One of the areas of concern to the fund over the years has remained supporting specialized public institutions to deliver on their mandate. This, the Executive Secretary Abdullahi Baffa Bishi says, is key to the attainment of the nation's developmental need as he addressed the management of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, during their 30th anniversary celebration.
We are paying due attention to ensure that the objectives for which these institutions are being established are met, and are met speedily and successfully.
Federal University of Agriculture Abeokuta was established together with the Federal University of Agriculture Makurdi in 1988 with the mandate to provide specialized training to propel the development of the sector. The university management commended the present administration's stride while assuring their continued support in providing practical knowledge for the teeming farmers in the country.
That we've got a president that has a vision to return to the plan of God, which is agriculture, and he's pursuing it with all the energy he has.
So our university is poised to assist the federal government, not really assisting, to contribute our quota to the development of the nation.
The event was used to showcase the university's achievement in different agricultural programs, especially cassava production and processing.
It is simple. Utilize the funds given to you for the development of the institutions. As the directive is, contractors are not longer the clients of TET Fund. It is the beneficiary institutions. From Abeokuta, Ado Adamu Anso, NTA News.
We're gradually coasting home. Just one segment to go. Don't abandon me now. There's sports and tomorrow's weather outlook.
With deep sorrow and total submission to the will of Almighty God, the family of Nebife of Umogbu community in Awka, Anambra State, announces the passing on to glory of our beloved wife, daughter, mother, sister, cousin and friend, late Mrs. Stephanie Oja Nebife ni Amigo. She was aged 41. Until her death, she was a staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Abuja Channel 5. Funeral service, Cathedral Church of St. Faith, Awka, date 26 April 2018. Venue, Nebife's Compound, Umogbu Community, Awka, Anambra State. Time, 10 a.m. Interment follows immediately at the deceased family compound, Awka, Anambra State. She is survived by her husband and 4 children, father, uncle, aunties, and a host of others. May her soul rest in perfect peace. Colonel Raf Nebife for the family announcer.
And we made it to the last segment. Thank you for staying with us. Now for stories making the rounds on the global scene, here is Uche Mwizo.
Thanks for staying with us. Fighting broke out in Sierra Leone's parliament just as the swearing-in of new prime ministers was getting underway following general elections last month. Members of the All People's Congress disrupted proceedings because 16 of its members were asked to leave the chamber after a high court injunction against them. In another development, South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has rejected opposition calls for him to resign as part of efforts to end civil war. He accused the anti-government groups of making a reasonable demand in peace talk. Last month, during talks led by East African Bloc in Addis Ababa, 10 opposition groups requested Kiir steps aside, the transitional parliament dissolved, and replaced. From Iran comes a report that Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has questioned the legitimacy of efforts by the U.S. and its European allies to change a nuclear deal with his country. The U.S. and the French leaders announced that they were working on a new deal that will expand and extend the terms of the 2015 accord. Rouhani said that they had no right to renegotiate a 7-party agreement. Finally, reports from India indicates that a self-styled spiritual guru has been given a life sentence for raping a 16-year-old girl. The 77-year-old guru Asaram has 400 ashrams around the world where he teaches meditation and yoga. That's it from here. I am Uche Mwezu. The news continues.
And in sports, Handball Federation of Nigeria intensifies preparations for first league season as Thomas Dennerby set to open Super Falcons camp in Abuja next month. Amanzi Marcus reports.
A 2-day trainers national coaching workshop for handball instructors in Nigeria began Wednesday at the Package B section of the Abuja National Stadium with over 20 participants. President of the Federation, Sam Ochehu, who declared the workshop open, says the decision to engage the chief handball referee in Nigeria, Moses Balogun, as one of the resource persons is targeted at imparting latest rules of the sport ahead of the 2018 National Handball League, which begins this weekend in Abuja.
This seminar is very important, where we are going to discuss the new patterns of handball, the new methodology in handball, the possibility of new games, and the new rules.
If the technical side is strong, our players will be strong, because these are the guys that are going to pass what they know and what they've learned to the young players on the field.
Nigeria's national women's team, the Super Falcons, are set to open camp on the 10th of May in Abuja for an AFCON qualifier against Gambia. 35 players from the domestic league will open the camp, and the number will be reduced to 15 to be joined by 20 foreign-based professionals by the 25th of May 2018. Falcons head coach Thomas Dennerby said he will pick only the best players to represent the country. Nigeria's Super Falcons are the defending champions